Hey guys, today is Tuesday, May 26th. We're coming down to the final few weeks of this. I think there's 2 more full weeks after this one. I appreciate you guys sticking with it. Today we are talking about surface area, and you can use surface area. There's a few examples up here to find how much cardboard makes up a box, to find how much frosting is needed for a cake, or to find how much wrapping paper is needed to wrap a present and cover a box. Now, those examples might seem kind of random. There are a lot of other places you can use surface area as well. But what we want you to notice is that surface area is always around the outside of a figure. And you can see in the big capital letters there, surface area is not the same as volume. That's why we really need you to watch the video for how to calculate surface area. Surface area is the total area of each face on the outside of a solid. Volume is the space inside of a solid. That's the big difference between surface area and volume. Now, before we get into calculating surface area, very quickly I'm going to show this GeoGebra model from the link right here. It'll open up to something like this, and you can change the dimensions of the rectangular prism. You can make them whatever you want. You can make it so that it's hollow, almost like less filled in, or you can make it solid and more filled in. But the things that I want you to see here is in the options slider. Notice that the top face and the bottom face are exactly the same. The front face and the back face are exactly the same. And the left side face and the right side face are exactly the same. So when we look at a rectangular prism, those opposite faces are equal, and you can see if we unfold the net, the colors match up. Left side and right side face are equal, they're both yellow. Front and back are equal, they're both pink. Top and bottom are equal, they're both kind of clear, that white look to it. Okay, now we're going to talk about how to actually calculate surface area. So to find surface area, we need to know the area of every single face. So the first thing that I want to do to this rectangular prism is try to label the other dimensions. If we know that bottom side is 9 inches, that means I can also label 9 inches up on the top. If we know that the left side is 3 inches, that means this line over here has to be 3 inches. And what about that 5 inches for the diagonal? I can label 5 inches up here. I think you'll find that having those labeled makes it a lot easier to see. So now I'm going to try to identify the faces that I can see. So let's see, the front face right here, that's highlighted in yellow. Okay, well that's a rectangle, and it has a base of 9 inches and a height of 3. So I'm going to keep this organized, and I'm going to say front, because I want to find the area of the front. But remember, the front and the back are equal, so I can knock both of those out. So front slash back. And remember, the area is equal to base times height. So the area is equal, in this case, to 9 times 3. So the area is equal to 27 inches squared. Now that's just for the front. If we want the front and back, I've got to double it. So I've got to say, okay, that means there's 2 sides times the 27 inches squared. That would give us 54 inches squared. And I'm just going to highlight that because I know it's something that we need to come back to at the end. Let's try to find one of the other faces. How about the top side up here? I'm going to go over it in green. Now, hopefully it's popping out. That's what we're trying to show here. If you look at the top side, we can see that it has a base of 9 inches, and now the height is 5 inches. So I'm going to write top slash bottom, because remember, in a rectangular prism, the top face and the bottom face are equal. So now it's the same thing. The area is equal to the base times the height. And in this case, the area is equal to 9 times 5. So the area of that top face would be 45 inches squared. Since we want top and bottom, we have to double that. So 2 times the 45 inches squared would give us the top and bottom have a total area of 90 inches squared. Again, I'm going to highlight it so that we can come back to that later on. And the last face that we can see here is the right side, and I'm going to try to go over it in blue. There we go. So for the right side, let me switch up the color. The right side we can see is equal to the left side, and you could use the GeoGebra app to actually see that. So the area of the right side is going to be the same as the area of the left side face. So again, we have that the area is equal to base times height. In this case, that means the area is equal to 5 times 3. So the area of that right side face is 15 inches squared. Since we have the right side and the left side, we're going to double it. 2 times 15 would give us 30 inches squared. And I want to highlight that as well. When you're finding the surface area, it has to be the total area for all of the faces. So what do you guys think is the last thing we have to do here? Hopefully you're already on to just adding them up. So I'm going to take the front face of 54 plus, I'm sorry, that's front and back. Then top and bottom gave us a total of 90 inches squared. Then the right face and the left face gave us a total area of 30 inches squared. So the total surface area here would be 174 inches squared. That is our final answer. Okay, for number 2, we're not going to go through the whole thing together, but I want to help you get it set up if you're looking at the completed notes or you're just trying to get a boost on how to solve from the video. So I like to label what we can see on here. If the bottom is 11, then I'm going to label the top as 11 centimeters. If this diagonal line is 5, I'm going to label the one up here as 5 centimeters. And if that vertical line is 6, then I can label 6 centimeters here. You could also carry it over to here, 6 centimeters. So focusing on what we can see, I'm going to grab the front face to start. So we know front and back are equal in a rectangular prism. And we can find the area by multiplying the base times the height. So now we'll say, okay, the front face would be 11 times 6. And the back face, I'll use F and B, the back face would also be 11 times 6 to find the area. Now we can go to the top and bottom. So I'm going to highlight it and hopefully make it easier to see. For that top face, I see we have a base of 11 and a height of 5. So now let's say top and bottom. So the area of the rectangle is equal to the base times the height. Now we can use the top has an area of 11 times 5, and the bottom will also have an area of 11 times 5. And for the last one on here, we've got to find the right side and the left side. So going over that tiny rectangle, now I'm going to set up right and left. And please try to use this strategy to keep things organized. We know the area of a rectangle is equal to the base times the height. So the right side face has an area of 5 times 6. And the left side face is equal. It also has an area of 5 times 6. Then you can find the area of each face. And remember, for surface area, we've got to add them all together at the end.